What is up, my brothers and sisters, my agents of respect? It's your boy TreJuanJohnson back with another episode of the No Disrespect But podcast. Before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Always feel free to comment. Just please make sure you keep those comments respectful. And if you're interested in supporting your favorite podcast, yours truly, you can do so on my Cash App, $ TreJuan Johnson. That'll also be in the episode description. So make sure you look for that. Um, as y'all can see, I'm ready. Ready for war tonight. I'm ready for war on Friday. We ready here in the man cave. Um, Big games coming up for my San Antonio Wimbies, as I call them, but you guys know the San Antonio Spurs, who I've been a fan of since I was four, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about them tonight. Yes, Bama's behind me. The game is in front of me, but I already gave y'all my spiel last episode on the whole college football playoff. I probably should have been smart like Josh Pate and just did week by week, but I just want to let y'all know my whole spiel of how I thought the whole playoff was going to go. So I kind of want to focus less on the playoffs, the college football playoff. I will talk about it, as it goes on, of course. But in all this discourse about the college football playoff, who's in, who's out, who should have been in, who should be out, G5 or not G5, will games be blowouts, all these types of things. All the conversation has been focused on these 12 teams. And for all these media members that talked about, oh, bowl season is dying, well, part of that is you sharing that blame because no one has talked about bowl season. Hell, we had some beautiful college football last weekend, led by Army Navy, led by the FCS playoffs, and you had people who get paid to talk college football say, hey, it's something not having college football this weekend. Are you kidding me? By the way, go Navy beat Army. We did that. Um, that was just insane to watch in real time. That the game that we love, the game that they claim is being ruined by kids wanting money, is in fact being ruined by you wanting money and by what you feel your ratings are driven by and what you choose to talk about. Because again, we had a great game between the military academies in Army and Navy. We had great FCS action. Illinois State is freaking doing it again. I don't understand. Yeah, they beat my alma mater, but hell, they beat the number one team in the nation, and they ended up beating UC Davis on the road. So they're just road warriors on their way to potentially a national championship. Like, who would have thought? Not me. But anyways, all that to say, I want to spend a lot of the conversations, especially this early part, around the bowl games. And I kind of want to start there. So I think we have some really good bowl games coming up. I'm going to kind of just give you guys an idea. Every week, I'm going to talk about the bowl games coming up. And so that way we can have a little bit more focus on that and hopefully draw some more eyes on some great teams who have, had a good enough season to play more football. That's what it's all about. Some people will say that's what it used to be about. That's what it's still about. And so let's dive into it. So tonight at 8 o'clock, and unfortunately I won't be able to watch because I will be watching my San Antonio Wimbies, but I'm probably gonna have it, I'm watching that on the TV, but probably gonna have it on my phone. Troy University is going to be playing Jacksonville State in the Salute to Veterans Bowl. Salute to all the veterans. Again, we just came off of the Army Navy game. Hard fought battle. Navy won, but my favorite part is when um, both teams get to sing their alma mater, so that was always beautiful. But Navy sang last, right? Because they won, which is awesome. Um, and so, you know, I was able to watch Troy maybe a little bit more than Jacksonville State. There's a guy on Twitter that I follow. Oh my God, why can I think of his name? But he is a Bama fan, but he's also a big Jacksonville State fan. Jacksonville State is being coached by the former defensive coordinator at Alabama. He was also an assistant for Colorado before taking the head job at Jacksonville State. A number of the guys that played for and graduated from the University of Alabama are on that staff. They fell just short in their conference championship, lost to Kennesaw State, kind of went down to the wire. But they're playing Troy, who was also a runner-up to James Madison in the Sun Belt, and so two really good teams. Like I said, I know a lot of guys on the staff at Jacksonville State. just from their ties with the University of Alabama. But Troy, I've probably watched a little bit more, of course, watched their near victory against Clemson when we kind of still thought Clemson might be something, but then started to figure out they wouldn't be that good this year. I love Troy, the way they just kind of pound the rock a little bit. Okay quarterback play, but I just want to see two teams just kind of get after it on the ground. And it's a primetime college football game. So if you're not into the NBA, right? I know a lot of people aren't. Um, but you love you some football, and more specifically, you love you some college football. There's no reason why you shouldn't be watching this game at 8 o'clock p.m. Troy, Jacksonville State, going to be two really good teams, I think, coming up. You know, Troy 8-5 record, Jacksonville State also 8 wins. So again, two teams that won enough, had a really good season, a winning season. Both made it to their conference championship games, fell just short, but able to still have something to play for, something to play for their seniors, something to play for their guys that are developing. And so, really like seeing that. Really did. Let's see. Mhm. All right. Well, I guess I can do predictions. It's not a gambling show. You do that, I don't do all that, gambling and stuff like that, obviously with my occupation. But look, if you want to take what I say and you want to cash it in, be my guest. Again, I gave y'all my Cash App at the beginning. So if you do hit big and you just want to help me out a little bit, that's fine. Not twisting hands, right? Or twisting arms. Anyways, Troy Jacksonville State. I will say because I have a little bit more familiarity with Troy, I'm just going to go with them on the strength of that, being able to watch their team the way they play. But Jacksonville State is no joke, and I think they're going to give their best effort. And I can see them walking away with a win. But I'm gonna go with Troy for this one. Tomorrow, we got a little bit earlier start. We got 4 o'clock p.m. action. Old Dominion, South Florida. Now, my employer, we scheduled Old Dominion last season and almost beat their asses. We we scored a touchdown, went for two, didn't get it. But it was a really good game. I'm really familiar with Old Dominion. Really like their university, but they're going up against South Florida. And South Florida is an SEC team's worst nightmare. I'll tell you that much. Gave Alabama headaches 2 years in a row to the point where we just said, hey, we're not scheduling you again. It was a little bit more complex than that, but that's if I'm a USF fan, that's what I'm telling the streets. That's what I'm telling everybody. Hey, we took it to them so much that they didn't want to play us no more. They knew if we got to them a third time, we was gonna win that thing. At least that's what I'd say. Uh, Led by Burnham Brown, who's a talented quarterback. I don't know if he's entering the draft this year. I do think if he decides to stay another year, maybe he might follow his head coach to Auburn, Alex Golish, being the new head coach at Auburn University. God, I hope that doesn't happen because both of those guys have just given me hell. Obviously, Brown is the quarterback for USF, Alex Golish as the head coach, but he also gave us some issues as the offense coordinator at Tennessee. So, really love that South Florida team. Had a big win in the swamp against Florida this year. Got killed by Miami. Honestly, was the G5 favorite for a long time. People thought that they would win the American Conference. That would kind of be between them and Tulane, and South Florida just kind of lost some big games along the way and didn't even get an opportunity to play for a conference championship. And of course, we know Tulane won that conference. But I love South Florida's brand of football, man. They're physical. They're going to run the ball, but they can hit you over the top with some big plays. Again, a lot of these bowl games, and it just is what it is. I pick based on familiarity with the teams that I've watched. A few years ago, before I really was kind of working in athletics, was we can't do it now, but I remember a group of my fraternity brothers and I had some family members. I know my dad was a part of it at one point in time. We used to have like around this time, just like a group where we just did pick'ems, of the game, and whoever got the most, you had to pick one who you thought the winner was, and if we both picked the same winner, then we had to pick the point spread, and then if it was the point, and then we tied on the point spread. Then it was who was closest to the winning team's points. And then if we got that right, who was closest to the losing team's points, just to have all these crazy tiebreakers. I was the commissioner. So when I talk about being the commissioner of college football, hey, I'm in on it. I'm ready. I've already been groomed for this, and we did that for maybe 4 years. I think I was the only repeat champion. No, we did 5 years because I won it. I won it. I know I won 2 years in a row. The first year, um, my fraternity brother's dad won it. Then my fraternity brother won it. My dad won it. Then I won 2 years in a row, and then another one of our fraternity, I think one of our fraternity brothers won the last one we ever had. And that was always fun. I mean, we're talking about bowls meaning something. I think if anything, that made us pay attention to bowl season. And this was in the early stages of the college football playoff too. So we had a really great time, and like that was part of our back and forth and part of our predictions as well. And we just kind of did it by day. So we didn't just say, okay, you got to pick all the bowl games. It was, hey, on this day, these are the bowl games. Give me your picks in. And so it was fun. We had a great time. So a lot of that process for me was who were teams that I watched throughout the year, and I watched a lot of college football, so I knew some of the teams. But then teams that I didn't know, kind of did a little research on them. See where their rankings were, who were players on their team, things like that, and that helped me. So I'll tell you right now, my predictions, a lot of that is going to be based on my familiarity with the team or a little bit of the research I did on the teams, and then go from there. But I'm gonna go with USF on this one. I mean, I'm always go with a team that beat an SEC team, but I just think USF has a really good program, and looking forward to what they do in the future. Wish Coach Golish the absolute worst now that he's the Auburn head coach. But God, I hope Brown does not follow him because I'm not trying to deal with that nightmare in November next year. But anyways, I'm going USF in that one. Then we got at 7:30 tomorrow. We got Louisiana Lafayette. Louisiana Lafayette. Yeah, I said it. That UL. Bring the L back. Bring it back. You're Louisiana Lafayette. You're not Louisiana. I don't care what you say. I don't care what's on your logos. Shout out to the men's track team though. They got a real good high jumper. Expect them to do some big things today or big things this year. But other than that, the University of Louisiana Lafayette will be taking on the Delaware Blue Hens. Now, what's funny is I have family that at Louisiana Lafayette. I'm very familiar with the university. A lot of my friends from high school went on to attend the university, graduate from the university. And so I'm very familiar there. Well, with that university, obviously being a Louisiana boy myself, my parents actually went to Louisiana Monroe. It was different. It's called something different then. I think it was Northeastern Louisiana at that point in time. So the Louisiana Lafayette is very much a rival in my household. Although my little sister went there, try to get her to come to Southeastern. She didn't want to go. She wanted to be a big girl and go to UL and work out. But it is what it is. Delaware is where my father is, and he has been for the past 20 years. And so I have a little bit of intimate knowledge with that university as well. I considered going to the University of Delaware coming out of high school just to be closer to my dad, but my mom wasn't having that. Um, at one point in time, in my professional career, I took a visit to the University of Delaware when I was working on an initiative at the university I was working at, and they had experience and had built a system. And so I got to shadow them for a couple of days, learn a little bit about how they did that, and just want to add that I was successful in implementing that system at that university and still running today. So something I'm proud of in my professional career. And at one point in time, there was a job opportunity at the University of Delaware that I applied for. Didn't get it. Did interview and it was fun. So definitely some ties to that university as well as the University of Louisiana Lafayette. Now, here's the thing: who do I go for in this? I have ties to both in a way, but I'm a boot boy. I'm a boot boy. So in the 68 Ventures Bowl, I'm going with Louisiana Lafayette. Yeah, they call themselves Louisiana and the University of Louisiana. But you know what? I'm going with the Raging Cajuns. How about that? Just so y'all don't feel disrespected that I won't call you by your your new name that you stole in the middle of the night, right? Gotta love Louisiana politics. I gotta go with my home state now. And I want my family to have a party, right? I want them to celebrate a bowl victory. So we're gonna go 68 Ventures Bowl champs, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns over the Delaware Blue Hens. And here's the thing, Delaware, by the way, was FCS. Like they were a really good team, right? And they moved up. So for them to be in a bowl game this early in their FBS journey is a testament to the investments put into Delaware athletics and, of course, Delaware football. Um, then on December 18th, we're going to have, excuse me, we're going to have Missouri State versus Arkansas State. Uh, One of my good friends lived in Missouri for a number of years. Arkansas State, I always liked them. Uh, I actually used to play with them on the game a lot. Missouri State is another one of those, I think, FCS schools that win FBS. So shout out to them. I'm gonna go Arkansas in this one. Arkansas State, you know, go with who you know. I know Arkansas State. I'm gonna go with them. All right. In the Xbox Bowl. Where are these bowl games? I mean, it might be too many bowls because the Xbox Bowl. All right, whatever. Oh, I wish I can go to this game. This is gonna be an early one though. Early. And I got a meeting during this time. So I'm gonna try to get out. It's supposed to be 2 hours, supposed to be 9 to 11. I'm gonna try to get out there at 10 because I don't think you need to meet 2 hours. Like I really don't. Like I'm trying to both be home for holiday break. But Kennesaw State, I in my road to glory RTG on the new college football game had a starting quarterback enrolled at Kennesaw State. Didn't start my first few games. We were hot shit. Came in, won us a few games, made this bowl eligible, won that bowl game, ended up winning the starting job again my sophomore year. And guess what? Sophomore, junior, and senior years, guess what? We got to the college football playoff. We won well, nope. We lost the national championship. We made three national championship games in a row, lost the first one, won the last two. So junior season year, guess what? National champion. 3 years in a row, I win the Heisman. Okay. So I got ties to Kennesaw State now. Well, actually, technically, I named it after what I would name my son was Adonis, but it's my blood. My blood won at Kennesaw State. And they're playing Western Michigan. And I used to like Western Michigan when PJ Fleck was there before he ended up going to Minnesota. But I love the story at Kennesaw State, man. Was an FCS school, moved to Division One, won one game last season, fired the coach, hired a new coach, and he has been amazing. They beat a Jacksonville State team that everybody assumed was going to win their conference. I think it's Conference USA, if I'm not mistaken. And bowl game. How many wins does Kennesaw State have? 10 wins. 10 wins. That's the one win a year ago. That's insane. And look, they're giving Western Michigan, who has 9 wins, a 60% chance to win. That's what the probability is. Uh, in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, they're playing in South Carolina, right? Look, that's close to home for Kennesaw State, who's right there in Georgia. My wife went to chiropractic school pretty much right around the corner at Life University. We got ties to it, baby. My wife was around the corner from our imaginary child in the video game. Played 4 years for them. 3 Heisman's, 2 national championships, first round draft pick. We're going Kennesaw State. Who gives a hoop? The Owls of Kennesaw State, baby. Let's go. Um, Myrtle Beach Bowl on Friday, 10 in the morning. If you love college football, you're doing it. Oh, Trey, I got work. Boy, if you don't put that game on the other screen on your computer, you don't watch it on your phone, keep it on your desk. It's almost Christmas. Don't be a try hard. You ain't working at home. Okay? Okay. Like, let's chill. 10 in the morning, you need to have it on your screen. This one. The Gasparilla Bowl. I think that's how you pronounce it. Memphis versus North Carolina State. North Carolina State has a really good quarterback, CJ Bailey. Memphis has a really good team, but their head coach is taking another job. Again, I go with the person I know. Go with North Carolina State. Got the best quarterback, as far as I'm concerned, in this game. That's who I'm going with. So, bowl season is kicking off really this week, starting tonight. And so just get prepared to um, get these, right? To get these um, Well, you know what? I'm gonna do the one on the 22nd too, just because we won't have another show. And on the 22nd, we have Washington State versus Utah State. Um, I'm a big BYU fan, so I can never cheer for another Utah team. Um, so I'm going Washington State. Shout out to my boy Rod Clinton, who graduated from there and who worked there for a number of years. Hope he's doing well. Got to check in on him tomorrow. But I'm going Washington State. You know the flag thing, the old crimson, I think is what they call their flag. That's been at every college football game day or college game day for shoot. I don't even know the record at this point, but it's been there for a number of years. Um, I'm going Washington State, old crimson. Um, and then that's that Monday. So I will be back. I will be back. I may drop an episode on Monday because there's such an early start on Tuesday. The 23rd is such an early start that um I may do a special show on Monday so I could talk about these matchups on the 23rd because got some good ones. Toledo versus Louisville, Western Kentucky versus Southern Miss, UNLV versus Ohio. So well, that one's in Frisco shit. I might go to that one. I might go to that one. All right. Well, we'll get to that. But so far, like I said, we got Troy, Jacksonville State tonight, Old Dominion versus South Florida tomorrow at 4, Louisiana Lafayette versus Delaware at 7:30 tomorrow. And then we have Missouri State versus Arkansas State at 8 o'clock on the 18th. Then on December 19th, that Friday, Kennesaw State and Western Michigan kicking us off at 10 a.m. Memphis, North Carolina State kicking us off at 1:30. And then, of course, we got the college football playoff matchup, Alabama versus Oklahoma at 7 p.m. So good there, really good there. Now, let's get to the reason why I won't really be able to watch much of the Troy versus Jacksonville State game. That is because the San Antonio Spurs will be facing off against the New York Knicks for the NBA Cup. Now, one, y'all know how I feel about my San Antonio Spurs. They're my favorite team ever. Like, I love them. I'm going to be the team governor one day. I'm telling y'all that right now. So this is documented evidence. When y'all see me on that press conference, and I ain't talking about in 10, 15 years, I'm talking about relatively soon. That is my vision. And I don't believe the Lord would give it to me if that wasn't something that's going to happen. So y'all going to have documented evidence. So when y'all see me on that press conference, y'all going to be like, he did say that. And this was episode such and such, you know, December 16th, 2025. He said that he was going to be the governor. And look at him. Look up there with his family, just so beautiful. So love that team to death and really excited for them. Beat a really great Oklahoma City Thunder team who's probably going to go back to back this year as the NBA champions. But Wemby's first game back coming off a calf strain, there was a lot of worry about what was going to happen with him, and he just exploded in 21, I think 21 minutes. Um, you know, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell really stepped up, and so really liking what I'm seeing from this team. Just guys that have been able to step up, especially the 12 games without Wemby, where they were 9-3, and so really love how this team has grown and has matured. And I think there's still more that they can do to clean up some things and be a little bit more efficient in what they do because they got down really big to Oklahoma City. And then Wemby kind of came in, got a minute, and then they got back down, then he got back in it again. So want to see us be better. I think we've definitely improved as a third quarter team, and I want to see us continue to do that. And so really proud of this team. I know they're young, but they're growing. And you know, one of the big things this year was that young cannot be an excuse anymore. And I think they played like it. So shout out to Coach Mitch Johnson and kind of setting that standard. Going up against a really good New York team who is also 18-7 on the year. Beat the Orlando Magic to get to this point. Man, Jalen Brunson, I think, dropped 40. Cat doing his thing. I think, him going to New York has been a breath of fresh air for his career, right? And obviously a breath of fresh air for the New York Knicks and having another guy that could take some pressure off of Jalen Brunson when you're talking about a guy that can put the ball in the basket. Um, they're going to be hard nosed, especially defensively. We know what type of energy they bring, just physicality, trying to muddy the game up a little bit, and then have their guy Jalen Brunson and their guy Cat kind of take it over towards the end. Obviously, going to be a tough matchup, obviously from the physicality standpoint, but even a guy like Cat that can space the floor and maybe take Victor a little bit out of the lane. So it's going to be interesting that game of cat and mouse of how they run the offense and maybe as Cat, who says he's the best big man shooter of all time, maybe saying, hey, we need you to be that today and probably not be as much in the post until, obviously Wemby's out of the game. They may utilize him in that way with a Luke Cornett, a Kelly Olynyk, Bismack Biyombo, guys of that mold guarding him. But I think when Wemby's in the game, they're probably going to maybe shy away from the paint touches, and so that's going to be real discipline on the rotations. Obviously, Wemby, when you have to rotate out to the 3 point line, not jumping, not doing a reckless closeout, maybe just throwing a hand up there, forcing the dribble, but being in position to contest layups, things like that. Obviously, guys being in passing lanes, getting out there on the break. It's going to be interesting, and so really proud of both teams. You guys know how I feel about New York Knicks. Shit, I've picked them to be in the finals 2 years in a row, and I'm going to do it again. I think they're going to make it to the NBA Finals again, or be at least in the Eastern Conference Finals again. With the litany of injuries in the Eastern Conference, I thought that the Bucks were making a run, but looks like Giannis is on his way out. He's out with a calf strain again, which I think is his second one in 3 years. So you always got to be cautious about that, especially after losing Damian Lillard to an Achilles last year. Of course, they traded him away, but he was supposed to be a big part of their future. But I will say this: the NBA Cup is starting to become a big deal, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it when Nosferatu proposed it as something that they were going to do, and I will say I don't think I'm still a fan of it in regards to the spirit of it all, because the NBA Cup should not be a bigger deal than the NBA Finals in terms of the pageantry and how it's promoted. Like that should not be the case. And I think the NBA has a ways to go in terms of getting back to how they promote the NBA Finals. But, but the NBA Cup has definitely become a precursor to that, especially when you know that the teams that have made it to the NBA Cup, I believe I think at least one of the two teams have made it to the NBA Finals every year. I think the Bucks were the only team that had won it that didn't make it to the NBA Finals, and of course that happened because Giannis got hurt, Damian Lillard got hurt, right? So when you have that history of this is a big deal because if you win this, you're more than likely going to go to the NBA Finals, right? I think it's a big deal when you think about the financial incentive, right? I think it's a big deal in how the NBA has promoted it. Um, and has managed it throughout the 82 game schedule. So it's great for all those things. And I can admit that I was wrong in the sense of fighting that aspect of the NBA Cup. But I still need, like, this can't be in lieu of the NBA Finals being a big deal. This can't be in lieu of NBA All-Star Weekend, more specifically the game, All-Star Game being a big deal. We have to figure out how to make those things a big deal. I feel like it's the same energy that you put into making the NBA Cup a big deal. If even half of that was applied to our NBA Finals, our NBA All Star Weekend, I think we would have um, something that fans look forward to. The ratings are declining year after year after year after year because, especially for the NBA Finals, and it's not good. Um, and one might argue, oh, it's the teams. If the Lakers and the Celtics make it, it's going to bring the ratings. Sure, if it's 2010 and you think this is what drives it, people want to watch really good basketball. They want to have stories. We don't have stories anymore. We don't have stars that we fall in love with. The game is just so much ISO and we don't and everybody's buddy and we don't have the rivalries anymore. And I can tell you, uh Wemby's trying to bring it back with what we got going on with the Oklahoma City Thunder, what they try to make happen with him and Chet. Obviously the international player connection too with him and Shea. So we don't have those rivalries anymore either. And I think what's made the NBA Cup so much fun is that in a way we've kind of gotten that through it all and the stories around it through it all. How can we manifest that throughout the season in building up stars? Like Detroit right now, they're having a great year. How can we build upon what Cade Cunningham is doing? Right. How can we build up on some of these younger teams, these younger stars, that by the time we get to the playoffs, we're invested in their stories, we're invested in their paths, we're rooting for them, even if they aren't our team, right? And then we finally get to the NBA Finals, and you have an allegiance in a way based on the story that you gravitated towards the most, the players you gravitated towards the most in that NBA matchup, and more so having some type of ties between the two teams. How do we make that matter, right? So I would definitely like the NBA to um, pick that up a little bit, but definitely I gotta say I appreciate what they're doing with the NBA Cup and that I was wrong about it in terms of not really thinking players would care that much. It was just another game. Like, oh, yeah, they're gonna play harder. Like they've gonna play harder in the All-Star game and stuff like that. But to Adam Silver's credit, Nosferatu, as I call him. If you guys don't get it, Google Nosferatu and then Google Adam Silver, and then you'll know. Um, and I can joke like that because I'll be his boss soon, or one of his 30 bosses, I should say. Um, but you know what he put into this was really good. I got to give him his credit, and I just love it. The players take it seriously. Like if you guys heard the way Wemby was speaking about the NBA Cup, not so much that like that it was equivalent to a championship, but that it mattered to him. And this is a guy from the European side of things. Of course, this is where Silver or Nasratu is getting this idea from. They have this in the FIBA game. And so a guy that can speak to that and how much it means to it, and knowing that, hey, it's not the championship, but it is a milestone on the way to a championship that we can celebrate and be proud of. And look, I want the Spurs, and I'm rooting like hell for them to walk away with this NBA Cup, and we're going to celebrate it. We're going to be happy about it. Think of it as kind of like a division title almost. I don't think division titles in sports are celebrated enough. We're going to celebrate, but we know that there's more that we can accomplish. And y'all know I'm riding with my Wimbies today. Really interested to see how Wimby plays. Is he going to play more now with a few more days of rest? Is he going to start? Because there's been talks about him coming off the bench again. Is he only going to play 22 minutes? Is he going to play a little bit more? Um, how the Knicks going to do? I mean, Brunson was on a tear, but now we have three wing defenders in Fox and Castle and Harper. Also, Devin Vassell may take that matchup at times. Will there be a Jeremy Sohan sighting for the Spurs tonight? How will the Knicks be able to score from perimeter? Because I think, you know, they're a driving team. They like to get inside, but they're going to have to shoot some threes and make some threes to win this game. I think Cat's going to have to be a big part of the offense. Yes, making threes from outside, but obviously, not being afraid to attack the rim. The best way to beat the Spurs and to beat a Victor Wembanyama led defense is to not have him on the court. And to do that is to take advantage of his desire to block shots and utilize your physicality in a way to maybe get him out of position to where he's fouling you. And we've seen teams do that to Wemby in the past. Get two quick ones. He had to sit on the bench. They go on a run. He comes in. We get some things going, get another foul, and then just kind of dealing with that and trying to navigate through his foul trouble. And I would say do the same thing with Luke Cornett. We know when Wemby's out of the game, Luke Cornett is better, not or Luke Cornett is good, not as good as Wemby is on the court. But when him and Wemby are both off the court, the Spurs interior defense is atrocious. And so if you can get both of those two guys in foul trouble, and you got to go up against a Luke Cornett, a Bismack Biyombo. We saw stretches against Oklahoma City where Harrison Barnes was playing the five. You're not getting away with that against Karl Anthony Towns. So let's probably not install that in the game plan. But maybe he might get away with it if a Jeremy Sohan, who has more of a physical build, he could probably bang with Cat a little bit. But I still wouldn't bet my horses on that. Anyways, looking forward to that game. Again, I was wrong about the NBA Cup. Excited that my team is in it, and maybe that's probably why I'm maybe a little bit more invested in it, is because my team is in it. But I will say, even this year, I think the NBA did a really good job of promoting the NBA Cup. I knew when it was going to be. I know a little bit more about the rules now. So they've done a little bit of a better job of educating the fan base on it. And so I think it's going to be something that you end up looking forward to as a fan, mainly because the players are looking forward to it. And if they're invested in it, it's going to be really easy for fans to get invested in it because of the product and level of play that we're going to get in this. So make sure you guys watch that tonight. But look, like I said, if you're not an NBA guy, you have to watch Troy and Jacksonville State. You have to watch that game. Please promise me you're going to watch that game. Um, because bowl games matter. They've always mattered. They will continue to matter. The only thing that will jeopardize them having life is you not paying attention. It's like in no shoot. What's the movie? What's the movie? I'm gonna watch it. Let's see. Coco, that's what it is. Coco. So how they mentioned, when they lose your memory or people that once knew you, they're gone and the memory of you is gone, then you are gone in the afterlife. That's what bowl season is, right? If we just allow these big brand networks to make it so that we never existed, that we don't matter. Oh, just got announced that Wimby is coming off the bench. Cool. Don't make a habit of that, please. Anyways, um, if we allow bowl games to wither away and not give it the attention that it deserves and that it has earned as a staple of college football, then it will die. Then it won't matter. Then we'll have a hundred team playoff. But if you show that level of love, again, there are teams that bust their ass to be 500 or better. They went through hard practices in the spring, summer, and fall. They went through some hard games, some injuries and setbacks and things like that. Obviously, academics as student athletes, and they've gotten to a point where they can play more football. That one can help their development if they're an underclassman. That can put more eyes on them if they're at a smaller school and want to go to a bigger school and get more eyes on them. If they're NFL hopefuls, if they're just seniors that want one more opportunity to play with their brothers, that's what this is about. This is what it's always been about. And we cannot let the love and the memory and just the beauty of what bowl season is just wither away because these big money execs want 1,000 team college football playoff. That isn't the only thing that matters. Every year since the beginning of college football, we've only had one national champion. Only one team can be a national champion, but multiple teams can have an opportunity to win trophies, to win prestige, to win honor. There are kids, there are young men, there are coaches who bust their ass for that opportunity. And we're out here listening to the ESPNs and the Fox sports networks of the world saying that they don't matter. That's insane to me. You can't you can't claim to love this game, to love this sport, and spew those words. That's insane to me. And even worse, to say you love it and not even cover it. No, that don't fly with me. We're going to cover it. We're going to continue to love and invest in college football, all of college football, and we won't let them kill bowls. We won't. We're going to stand 10 toes down, and we're going to fight the good fight. Okay, that's it, right? Bowl season. Catch your favorite bowl games. For those who may be fans of these teams, congratulations. They have earned another opportunity to play for you. Enjoy that moment. Cheer those kids on. Cheer those coaches on, and hopefully they'll be bringing some hardware back to your college campus. And again, promoting your program and its brand to the world. I believe in you. I love you. Let's do it for the bowl season, for the life of the bowl. Okay. And go Spurs, go. Anyways, y'all know how I end the show. If there's anything I said that offended anyone, it's a good thing, right? It's an opportunity for me to learn, and it's an opportunity for you to teach me. All I ask is that you keep it respectful. Peace.